actually watching that last week. Like, I know that it was there, but I totally just assumed that she like you
No,
said.
because I didn't even know when she said it
that
that she was watching. She was like, "Oh, it was cool seeing the." And I was like, I didn't even know. And then she was like, "Well, when you subscribe to the YouTube page, then it automatically gives you the update yeah."
Oh, that shit wild, man.
Is it coming through yet? On the FM dial.
Deities.
That neck and wrist don't lie, don't lie.
Man, that audio sounds good as shit. Mm-hmm. You open that can, it's like,
It's us players.
yeah, the video's still going up and down.
Okay.
So, and I tried connecting it to that joint.
Okay.
That's a gaming company. They're like, no, ain't nobody taking our shit.
Yeah.
I got these shit all locked up.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking once she was saying that's what it was.
Put it in a complaint. Dear gaming niggas, y'all ain't business haters.
It is just a strange thing. I mean, I guess it's not that strange. It's not strange at all.
Of what?
Like before, what's Olivia been doing? Like she's working out of here doing stuff, right? Like what's she been doing for the internet? She does her own hotspot?
Because when they moved it from over there, she was saying that it was a lot better over in the other spot. The hot spots were a lot. The signal was way better over there, and that's why she was trying to eventually try to see if she could mosey in on their joints.
So, long-term solution is just getting a service in here.
Yeah, but I get this is what she did mention though too, because of that being in here, that something about you can only have one router.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, in the space. So
Wait,
it's
so-
legit having to connect, trying to just see if they'll get on. Of course, I didn't know none
Any
of
of
this
this, yeah.
shit being. But I'm thinking what I'm going to do right here, what I just did, is the way I've got it laid out, where it's us, and then it has, instead of having the big one of both of us, it's just a third square.
I like it.
Yeah, this just is gone.
And it's taking less like
Yeah.
whatever
And I feel like with it being smaller, it
Bandwidth
don't
or-
seem as
not gonna seem
pixelated.
bad.
Yeah.
yeah. It also just
may
looks
need
good.
to do
This is dope.
Change the marker out there. Yeah. Hell yeah. Alright, let's get this fucking party started.
It's a big one.
A little splish and a little splash. Put a little wine in that glass. Am, you deserve another shot. Would you like one?
Yes. Get this nigga drunk.
I seen a TikTok earlier that was like,
Oh yeah.
My,
That was so fucked up. I didn't hear you ask me about another shot until I came to one.
the girl was like, no, my boyfriend don't drink, and she was like, I got him in she said I got him two Hennessy, like some kind of mix. It was a mixture. It was like a Hennessy raspberry, some shit. And she was like, no, I'm about to slut this nigga out afterwards. And I was in there cracking the fuck up.
I watch. That group I'm in, one of the posts today was, this girl was like, I be kikiing and laughing at all this nigga's jokes and all of that, and it's like, how many emojis do I need to give you for you to give me the D? Like, haha, you funny, okay, run that now.
I'll wait to tell her when we get on here. I got it from the Keller.
PDX
Hussies. The Hussies and Bussies.
Not the hussies.
That's the thing. It's just a hustling. Just a bunch of husklins. Or you just a silent, yeah. What you be adding to the group under a pseudonym?
I don't be adding to the group at all.
A DVA in that motherfucker.
Yo, they be like, y'all better check in or I'm deleting and da-da-da-da-da. And I be like, oh, hi, I read things here. Like, I be, when Carmen posts shit, like, I'll comment on stuff that she posts. But there's, like, the shit is...
too small, man.
Yeah.
There's so many. Like, I'm not about to post no shit about my actual self in there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Okay.
they make it very clear that these hoes is messy, and they be showing other niggas. They be showing niggas shit, and then the niggas go back to their bitch and be like, yeah, and these bitches said, and da-da-da. And it's like, that is a common every single week thing where it's like, so all the rest of the group is like, point these bitches out, and then so that they can get kicked out the group, and then nobody does it. So then it's just like, y'all fucking messy too. Like, you want to see this shit happen. Like, they just did a you know how groups will like repost the rules, or you know what I'm saying? Like, so she was like, just yeah, it was like just added 50 people or something like that. So no cussing, which I didn't know was a thing. Y'all be talking about dicks and pussies and all sorts of shit, so I didn't know that you. But I guess, I was like, I guess
Remember
y'all
we
could be
recording
putting.
too. All this is on our live shit. So.
Oh no! No, you done turned me into one of them. Now, no. What?
I mean, I was trying to give the nudges.
Where? When did you give me the nudge? Lying.
No, I didn't. All right, let's jump into this because we had 8:15.
Y'all better stay tuned in. It's happening like this every week. So y'all better subscribe. So you get that notification. I'm on. Juicy Beats.
I am aghast. I can't believe you. I can close the drive. I can close all this shit. All of that. I need to keep this. Sorry, I was trying. How do you do this? Yes. Okay.
All right, you ready for this?
Done. Oh.
We good on the Zoom? Zoom recording?
Yep.
Okay. All right. How long has the Zoom been? My bad. How long has the Zoom been recording?
4 minutes.
4?
I can start over.
Yeah, just started out now. Yeah. Hey. Welcome to another episode of the Unrefined Sophisticates podcast, episode 158.
Wow. That's not how I thought you would do that.
2 less than 160, which is 20 less than 180, which is 180 less than a 360. So we're at a little more than two-thirds of a turn into this new lifestyle that we plan to live. We just getting closer to our dreams. That's what the 158 is a metaphor for that. I'm your host, Ken Jones. To my left,
Morgan Jones.
we back in this thing another time. A few more moments with you. We got some things to get into. I know last week we started up top with the murder, death, kill theme that we didn't quite make
Live up
it
to. We didn't live up to it.
But we gonna run it back like Michael Myers.
Y'all gonna get this work.
That porch. Before we jump into the things, we're gonna do this. We're gonna give our shout outs. We're gonna shout out to the UK and Taiwan for being our top listening countries this week outside of these here United States. Shout out to Vancouver and Los Angeles for being our top listening cities outside of Portland, Oregon. Shout out to our top listener this week, Alternate Life Force. That sounds pretty strong. We're going to shout out our sponsor, the Nine brand. That's TheIXBRAND. Check out the latest and the greatest at TheIXBRAND.co.com. Don't let your autocorrect send you to a place you don't want to be. You can also follow us on the Instagrams. You can follow us at Unrefined Sophisticates. Follow me, Can, at I Technically Can. And follow Morg at Portland Morg. Make sure you like us, subscribe, and review wherever you listen. Tell a friend to tell a friend about us. Double Aunt Andres. Yes.
Also follow me at Portland Morgan, not Portland Morgue, because I don't know who that is.
I said that?
You did. And it's the first time it's ever happened, so there's no beef, you know? But I want the follows, so actually find me.
Sometimes
Instagram.
the Lord be speaking through me.
Oh, so the Lord don't want me to have follows? That's why I don't like him. What?
Or he's saying, you know, you may need to start over. Right?
No.
In the midst of that turn, as we turn our lives around, right? In this transformation from a shell, a cocoon of sorts.
So this week, a lot of things have happened.
Okay.
We're not doing that.
Okay.
Yeah. I have a story to tell. And I
story
didn't tell
time.
you this story yet on purpose because I want to see. I know that you have feelings about other drivers, right?
Yeah.
Like there's feelings.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I was going to pick up Ambush.
Okay.
So I'm by myself.
Okay.
I go over 405, which is a bridge here in Portland.
Yes.
It's raining, cats and dogs.
Ooh, roof and meow.
It is dark, and it's not like actual rush hour or anything, but that, you know, going towards Beaverton, those two lanes get real thick.
Yeah.
And then there's a third lane, and that's the one that I go because it eventually becomes the exit only,
Yes.
right? So I'm going, I see all the slowing down because they do not know how to merge, and they certainly don't know how to merge from one lane. You got to get over to another lane to get into a lane that you're merging to,
Yeah,
right?
nah, just full steam ahead.
They just they'll just sideways it. Like,
Yeah.
if they could crab walk like that Hummer, that's what they would do. So I'm keeping my eye out because I know that people are wild over there.
Okay.
And it's wet. And so I am from here, and I know that people just, the rain hits and they're like, whoop, 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 whoop. Like they just don't know how to drive all of a sudden. So I'm like, slow down, wait, see that there's a very long line of cars that are trying to get over. I'm gonna dip around and get back to the front. So I do that. And then this Land Rover comes from the other lane and just cuts me off. So I give a light horn.
Okay.
Like, I have enough I didn't hit him, you know, like but like, fam, I was
Yeah.
here. Like, you
Yeah.
saw me. And nothing happens. Like, he keeps going. And then he's like slowing down and like, hedging my bets, right? Like, am I gonna get Am I gonna get over into this? Am I gonna emerge? There's literally nowhere for him to do it where he's tapping the brakes,
Okay.
right? Like it's bumper to bumper where he's at.
Yeah.
So like you have a decision to make. You are in a exit only lane and you're at the point where we are about to exit.
Yeah.
And you're like, no turn signal, no nothing, right? Just like thinking about it.
Yeah.
He then just like gets diagonal. So like I can't even get around you. Like this, it made no sense. So I hit the horn like, fam, if you're gonna do that, then you gotta scoot up a touch so
Yeah.
that I can, you know what I mean? So he does scoot up a touch. I go around, I get off the exit, and I see him dip out of where he got in line, and now he's following me. And the car is approaching quickly.
Okay.
And I'm like, interesting. That's got to be the same car, but it's dark, so I can't see the color of the car
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
rear view. And where the Land Rover sits, it's like, lights are directly where my rear view is, like my vision of it. So I'm like, that looks like that same car. Get off, and so you got to go through Burnside.
Yeah.
On Burnside, the light is green for me, but there's a fire truck coming. So slow down, fire truck turns, I'm going where the fire truck is. There's 2 cars in front of me. Follow the fire truck, kinda. Fire truck goes through the next light, and because of how they went through the light, I missed the light. So
Okay.
I stop, and here's this car.
Don't know.
He's behind me, and then he pulls up on the side of me. And I'm in the left lane, but I'm not turning, so there's space for him to be there.
Did you already grip the pistol?
Yes.
Okay.
So he pulls up, and I look over, and I don't see him, but he starts revving. Like it's like revving and stopping, right? And it looks like he's having a little trouble getting his window down, but the window gets down, right? And then he's like, you got a problem with your horn? And I want to tell you that what I see when I look over is an older white man, all gray, in, a Patagonia, feeling himself, I don't know, maybe you were on your way to Beaverton or the West Hills where you normally live.
Yeah,
Why
yeah.
are you over here
Yeah.
doing this right now? And I'm like, no, I don't have a problem with my horn. Why did you cut me off and then you got into a lane that's exit only and then you sat there and you went diagonal? I don't have a problem with my horn. And he was like, I don't even remember what he said, but he couldn't get it out.
Oh, he was flustered.
He's flustered. And I was like, you just got off the freeway that you needed to be on to follow me, to ask me if my horn has a problem. You're a lunatic. Like there's no other, I honked my horn.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and a horn being honked at you when you're in the wrong. Like, it's not like I was just aggressive with it and was like, get out of my way. Like, you're literally in the wrong. You cut me off. There's no way you didn't know you did that. And then you also just went diagonal on the freeway. Like, I didn't even know you could do that. But like,
And when you say all gray, are we talking like 50?
okay, you know how there's a time in certain white men's lives where it's like, oh, you could be late 40s or you could be early 60s.
Got
He
it.
was in that. So
Okay.
I'm going to say he was probably late 50s,
Okay.
early 60s.
Okay.
But this was like what could have happened in your day that your idea right now was, you know what? I'm going to follow this car.
Yeah.
And then when you get to it and you see a woman sitting in her car, your idea is, I'm going to yell at her about it.
I'm going to give her a piece of what I'm thinking. My mind.
And the piece of what you
will
were
be
thinking
handled.
is, do you have a horn problem? Like, that's going to be the name of my memoir. That is the dumbest thing that you had all that time revving your engine behind me, all that time, and you couldn't come up with something better than, do you have a horn problem?
Which,
I hope that every moment in the shower, he thinks about the things he wanted to say to me.
if you had said yes, actually, I do.
I do actually have a horn problem. Have a great day.
There's not a game. The thing is, when people do this, there's never a game plan.
I just can't, I can't understand what it means to like travel 3 lanes to get into a lane that I need to be in to stay on the freeway.
Yeah.
And then, no, I don't. You know what? This is way more important right now.
Well, I
and then
get
you don't
the
have anything to say.
enragement that comes because although I probably wouldn't put myself in a situation of rush hour traffic or congested traffic, there's definitely this thing when you're, at least for myself, where I know there's still work to be done, is when it comes to people being extra in traffic. Like,
Oh, sir, okay.
and that's one of those things for me. It's like that's one of the few times that I can barely catch before that rise.
Before it hits. Yeah.
Yeah, I can barely catch that, and I've definitely done the most. But my thing is, I don't have a game plan to talk to you. I just want to fight. And
Yeah.
that's where my thing is like, I'm not going to do the things to be, I'm going to put the car in park in front of your car and be like, all the aggressiveness that you were displaying,
Right.
do that outside the vehicle.
Do it right now.
I've
Show me
done
what you
this.
got.
This is not a theory thing. I've unfortunately done this with my children, and that's where it's made me actually have to think about it now because I've seen the scared look on their faces.
Right.
And for me, it's like, I just need you to keep that energy outside of your vehicle
Because I'm about that action.
that you had in
Yeah.
that vehicle. But the thing, the horns get me. I'm gonna just tell my little quick take on when people use their horns in moments like there's traffic. The person in front of you can't go.
Oh, yeah. No.
This light changed. Everybody was turning. It was green when they turned.
Yep.
And so with that, you being, yes, you may be blocked. You honking is not going to change this situation.
Oh, no, it doesn't change the situation at all.
And it's like, for what?
Oh, the point is, look what you just did.
Yeah. And that's in,
Yeah.
it's like, but also that car isn't the cause of traffic. Like the traffic
Oh,
is
in your
front of them.
scenario, yes, that is
Yeah.
correct. And
Yeah,
I'm not,
yeah.
I'm saying the reason
and this is what I'm talking about
Okay.
where I don't understand the logic in horn use by people that use their horns when it's not going to change this situation. The honk in the space of like, you know, the watch out or you're getting close, like any of those things makes sense.
Yeah.
But when I'm seeing people stop, it's like, oh, you honking that horn, their car's going to lift up and like make a path for you to go. Like, what are we doing? But then in situations where I think about times where you've ridden with me, I feel like I'm a fairly good driver. Not too much tailgating and herky jerkies, right?
I feel very safe when you drive.
And I feel that when people honk, if like me merging in, the times I've had honks, and it's like you didn't get cut off. Like this was just you were not paying attention, maybe, and then you were startled, and that turned into this honk of like something was done wrong. It's like no, actually, I jumped in here because you were looking down,
And I saw you looking down
and there
because
was
you were
enough
texting.
space.
Right.
But that's one of those that just be like, for what? I'm here now. Usually I'll wave to a
Yeah,
honk.
I think the thing that upsets me, like I feel you on all
Yeah,
those
yours
things.
should-
And the thing that upsets me when a honk happens that is what anybody could consider a legitimate honk, right?
Yeah.
It's the fact that people get so defensive for me.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, you just did something
Yeah.
though, right? Like you did the thing, and instead of just being like, oh, my bad, because I've definitely been at the light, it's red, I look down, I'm changing the song, I'm doing something,
Yeah.
it's green.
People don't
and
be
then,
giving no space.
No time.
The light
I am
can
a person
turn
that- yeah,
green.
I'd be mad. I'd be like, go.
There's times I have not like I'm not even. I'm watching this. I've watched
I watched
it change.
I'm moving my foot from one pedal
And it's
to the
been
next.
like and it's been like, what?
You know who that is? My father.
Whew. And this
My
is
dad
this is
gets-
the pettiness
he
of
is
me
so
is where
impatient.
I will just take my foot off of the gas.
Right.
We'll just be here.
Yikes.
That's where I go to when people tailgate, especially on the freeway.
Oh,
we just
yeah.
about to coast.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
about to
Have
coast.
fun.
Coast.
Find your way around
14 miles an
Because why are
hour.
you in my trunk?
That.
Tell me why
yeah, if
you're
I can't
in
see
my
your
backseat.
headlights behind me, you're doing a lot. I should be able to see both of the bottom and top of your headlight. There should
Yeah.
never be a
Yeah,
moment
yeah.
that I look in my rear view and I'm only seeing the
Upper portion.
Yeah, nah.
Agree. It was just such a weird, like, I don't know, like, I was telling Ambush, like, I'm not shook, but I was shook because why are you following me? You just got off the, like, you have to be
That
in
could've easily been a 187.
completely different headspace
Yeah.
to hop off the freeway mad, follow somebody a few blocks just to be able to be like,
And the thing that I take as a measure with that also, would that have played out had Ambush
If
been
Ambush was
that
in the car,
vehicle?
ain't no way.
And that's the part that definitely bothers me. Even the times I've been in traffic and seeing something unrelated to myself and seeing somebody yelling or doing something extra aggressive to a woman driver, that's a thing that enrages.
yeah, like there's no way he would have said anything.
Yeah.
People don't say anything to me.
The stories that I
when
can
I'm
give
with
you,
Ambush.
being that I used to have driving jobs of people getting reckless and then pulling up. I've had a trucker, no lie, I've had a trucker in a semi. He was a gas truck. This whole big thing, like he was behind me hitting the horns, and then we came up on construction. Stopped. He gets out his joint and he's coming. I'm watching him in the rear view. I'm like, okay, cool. Comes up. He gets going at my window, taps on the window, and he's like, open that door real quick. All the aggression left his body when I stepped out. Then he's like, man, you got to just be able to be more careful out. What? As you were walking,
You gotta be
got
able
out of
to,
your joint and then gave me the. But I've had that happen in multiple instances where it's a lot of extra, and then if I hop out or I'm returning that energy, then it's a.
Then it's a problem.
Hey, you just need to.
Oh man, I was just trying
Yeah.
to see if
Yeah.
yeah,
It's again, that's I've been on all my platforms mentioning that's the space that I don't have it. I don't have the patience still trying to learn that one. Cause
I know I have like strides to make, right?
Yeah.
Like impatience and all of those things. I know I do. But I also know myself. I wasn't in a rush last night.
Yeah.
I wasn't, like I had left in plenty of time. It wasn't like I was worried or, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it was just extra normal.
Yeah.
And none of my anything was aggressive or mad or, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, to get that energy and to get followed is like.
That's where you just got.
And then he couldn't say anything.
Up the pole on him. You got to
Like,
up
if-
the pole.
Oh, you're
let
right.
him see the stick on the blick.
Listen, I don't show any.
Oh, Papa taught you right.
You know.
You gonna show it, you better shoot it. Mm-hmm. I feel that.
And I just, misconnection kind of thing. I want to know what that white man is thinking. Like when he went home, I want to know, did he tell his wife that, like there was this lady that honked at him and he got out of line and went and followed her so he could yell at her? Like, I just want to know how that went,
Definitely.
Because if Ambush came home and told me that he was so mad at some woman that he did these things, I would be like, and let's talk about this. Because these are things I don't want my partner doing in the wild. Like,
And it's wild because I've not really had situations where I got wild over like somebody turning in. Like it's usually my response
you have to respond to something, right?
their reaction to something. Yeah. And I think though, if that ever escalated for myself, I know I'd feel like an idiot after, which is like, I need to be able to capture that up front. So something last night, went and saw Hamilton.
First of all, Broadway in Portland, shout out.
Shout.
Shout out the homies.
Shout.
I have worked Hamilton before, and in my previous position working that show, I don't ever want to do that again. that is it's such a big show, right? And because it's such a big show, there's on the back end, the work that has to happen locally is, it's kind of just outlandish what they expect you to do and what they want from you. So I'm hoping that it was easier this go around because this is the second time it's been in Portland, and so hopefully it's a little bit.
Let me tell you. So before even talking about this show, let's talk about the things around it. So, of course, digital ticket. This time the will call was open. I don't know necessarily what was going on in will call.
Okay.
But you had to show proof of vax. Your ID, of course, ID, proof of vax, but also having to wear the mask, which I was like, wait, so if we're all vaxxed, why do we need the mask?
Different variants, Can.
I hear that.
Okay.
But the state is done with their joints, and it's usually only federal things that have been, and I don't know if they're a federal institute, like how that part of it works.
No, they're not. But you get to companies get to decide, right?
Oh, they do.
Yeah, they don't. So if there's a mask mandate, they don't get to decide. You are supposed to enforce that. Period. But once the mandate is over, companies can say you can't come here without being vaxxed or masked or whatever it is that they want to say. Okay. Yeah, they can do that.
I guess that's the first time I ran into it of the double up since the
beginning of being able to be vaxxed.
Because I was like, well, if we have the mask, then why do we need to show that we're vaxxed?
Right.
That was more where it was like what the trade off on it. Because I was thinking like flying, you don't got to show your vax. Well, for domestic flights, you don't got to show. You just need your mask. You have to have your mask on.
Right.
So it's like that. But again, I understand security. I understand like in the layers of being safe all the way. But with that, so typically during the middle portion, intermission. Not to be confused with ignition. There was no going outside.
Oh, things I can't do for 1,000, Alex. Excuse me.
No. So
do you know how long that show is?
Let me tell you this. To know how long this is, that when you gotta pee, that sensation started for me at 15 after. I didn't realize that this was gonna go before that intermission up until the top of the hour.
No,
so
it's a
after
tough...
every dance finishes,
you're like, this is time.
Nobody can go. So I'm already in my mind like I'm not like there's gonna be a line. Seats were great.
Shout out to homies at Broadway in Portland.
Row D.
McSkews?
Yeah. Yeah. Center.
Somebody loves you, baby.
Somebody loves you, baby. So I couldn't just get up and wiggle, right? Like people are in here.
Oh yeah, you're not at the end.
Exactly.
You said middle.
And when I tell you, like I couldn't even concentrate. I'm doing the knee.
Oh.
So
tapping the toes.
Intermission time.
You run.
Sprint. Come up to the top of aisle 4. The line
already
is back to door 3.
Oh yeah, you got nothing. You're not getting in there.
So then I look, I can go hit a corner right quick.
Right. I'll go outside.
Then realize there's a thing on every door that says no re-entry and nobody's going outside.
I'm gonna have to speak to the managers. I don't understand what you mean by
when I looking at
outside.
that line, and there was a moment though I'm like, I am at least knowing that dudes they're not going in the bathroom to get pretty. Like I start running through. There's
like
none
this'll
of this.
Be quicker. It'll be quicker.
It's just whip it, wash it, go, and half of them ain't even washing it. So I'm in this line for about 5 minutes. Then I hear there's a woman's voice, 2 women actually. I'm hearing 2 white women's voices, and they're like, "This is the men's line. This is like a third of the ladies of the women's line, oh, I identify as a man today. So like in that point, like I was turning around to look at them. It was like, I forgot what the reason that I was looking over. And then it was like that thing of them, like one was standing right to the side and was about, you could tell she was about to try to explain in a way of like making herself feel comfortable to be in a line. They legit stayed in this line, went in here, they were behind me. So I'm in this line for about 10, maybe 15 minutes. To where it was 3 minutes. When I came out, they gave the 3 minute.
Yeah, I'm like, that's you're done.
Yeah. So go in the back, like the whole way, like they're giggling about it, like and then people, and it was like a dude came out the bathroom, was like, "Oh, you know, this is the men's," and they're like, "Yeah, we identify as men today," and it was just. I don't know why
you need to do that. That's chill. Number one.
But also, had I went and stood, when I was I was like, if any dude would have went over to the women's line, could have never got this off, ever. And legit just came in here. This dude, like, I know when I piss and I finish, like, I wait till I get over to the joint. I mean, when my dick is away, but I get over to the joint to wash my hands, and then I do all my buckling. And it's just like, that was just the interesting thing where I was like, that's got to be a great privilege to just decide you're going to go and jump in this shorter line and come handle your business and it not even be a thing.
I know that you're saying you wouldn't be able to do that, but I have definitely been in a line, in a women's restroom line, and men either go ahead, just flat out cut you, or been in there like washing my hands and a dude just comes in and so like, there are dudes that do it.
I guess I've never.
It's just that normally like a woman's bathroom is it's not as quick. Like you just don't have, it's not as quick. And I'll tell you this also, at a show like that where you're at intermission and there's so many people, like it ain't a lot of people trying to be pretty. It's literally like in and out, in and out, in and out. And like,
I just know regardless, them damn bathroom
it just takes longer for women to go to, it just takes longer.
Managed to get back in there.
I don't know how you made it. Like that is
that was one of those like real concentration. A lot of the little dances and then really having to concentrate. It's been a minute since I've had to. It's like that and not be able to do anything about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Like I'm stuck here. I cannot do
legitimately
looking around like is there a
every time the light dimmed, it was like, cool, it should be. And then see somebody else coming out and be like, God, go to intermission. All right, so now that I got the little complaints out the way, shout out the seat. Like, I had no idea.
I don't know if I will get in trouble for this, but I just want to. Trouble's the wrong word. Shout out to Tracy. Tracy has always taken care of us.
Yeah.
She has always taken care of me as much as she possibly can when I was her employee, and she really genuinely cares about us, right?
Yeah.
So like, you being in that seat doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
It's just also like a reinforcement, right? Like it just.
That's dope.
Shout out to her forever and always. And in this moment, because I wasn't there, so it's one thing when I can be a part of it. Like, oh, make sure that you put cans somewhere. I'm not there anymore, and I didn't have any input. So for me to have zero input, and for you to get that kind of seat, like again, shout out to the fam.
So shout it out.
Yeah. I'll be quiet.
I'll say that because after being able to relieve my bladder, I was able to get into the show fully.
Yes.
Which I was already into. I was digging, but then that.
Yeah, that
period was rough.
You lose your concentration, right? When you have to focus on like, don't let this thing happen.
After coming back, there was a moment that I understood, and maybe it just speaks to how good Hamilton was put together versus other Broadway shows that I've came across. But this one actually had me tied in, and of course the hippity hoppity element tied in very well. This being the flavor that was thrown into these musical portions, along with the story, really keeping up with the story, and was having moments of like, what? Like feeling as if I'm learning history, and I wish that I was taught more history in a way that was entertaining.
So this is the thing about that show. Like I think we've talked about this before, where if history was explained, and I remember saying this like as a young person, like as an actual student,
Yeah.
like I remember the lyrics to songs. If they would just give this to me in a form that I could retain,
Yeah.
because every single history class was just, one, not accurate,
Yeah.
and two, so boring. And
Yeah.
to capture like actual young people's minds where we're psychopaths at that
Yeah.
point, like literally mapped psychopaths,
Yeah.
right? And don't have like that kind of concentration to really keep things that we can't see affecting our lives in that moment,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So like, if only they would, because then you remember, like you
At that point,
remember
they just
what
throwing a
happened
bunch
between
of
him and
dates,
Jefferson, right?
Dates and names. And it's like,
And
okay.
yeah, and then they test you on it, and as long as you memorize
I
that,
still don't know where Mesopotamia's at. Mesopotamia.
okay, well you don't know how to say it either, so that's
I
great.
don't. That's shout out to public schools.
Like that's my point. That's my point.
But the acting was crazy dope. There was a couple like moments that I was really like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
In terms of how you respond, and you know, we've talked about being emotionally invested
Yeah.
into a play.
Yeah.
Watching that and having the moment click for me in seeing how that can be a thing. I felt adultish. That was what I will say. The only part of the experience that from previous of being able to walk up to the press table and get the.
Oh, so you can't do that
No,
now?
it's you pop up at the joint, you pull up the tickets on your phone and just show that they scan
So there's
it.
no one to see. There was no.
No.
So you didn't even get to see Tracy. I wonder if they have to work. I wonder if they have to be there.
I looked for the table, like to see
there
if there
was-
was
yeah.
some. I didn't see that in there. I don't remember before. Was there an island in the middle that did drinks and all that? Because I don't.
Sometimes.
Okay.
So yeah, like they had the actual bar,
Yeah.
right? That's this big rounded.
Yeah, yeah.
They have
Okay.
that, and then there's
The one by the men's
one.
bathroom.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then there would sometimes be like one over by the women's bathroom, but it wasn't.
I
It
didn't
wasn't
look-
always.
I'll say I didn't look over towards the women's bathroom to know it was just it because it was so crowded in the spot. It was just, and also always anytime I go in there, it's interesting, and I know part of it is being tall, and then the other part is being black. Of walking through, and it's the eyeballs that be
Burrowing.
laying on my whole being.
Yo, burrowing.
It be like,
What are you doing
what's
here?
going on? What we talking about, dog? It wasn't no. The thing is, at least give an acknowledgement. Don't just be staring through my like all the matter that makes me,
Doesn't matter.
and not head nod or
nothing.
nothing. It's just
It's almost as if people believe you can't see them,
that.
right? Like
Invisibility
they're just
cloaks.
in complete and total awe of this majestic being in
I
front
mean,
of
I am
them.
kind of majestic.
You're
I
very
can't-
majestic.
I
You are a
can't-
merman.
Okay,
And that,
I'm glad it was
listen,
said.
Yeah. We understand the majesticness, but
Yeah.
you have to, like you said, just acknowledge,
Yeah,
like,
just
oh,
something.
hey, give me a little peace sign, give me a thumbs up. I don't,
Yes.
whatever it is that you culturally do, but like, don't just, why are you here, me?
Yeah.
And then think
Which that used to be a dope part of having the press table was coming in and getting the kind of looks of like, or even the
that
person at the
person?
door
Yeah.
and being like, my tickets is, and they're just being that.
I'm at the press
Like, let me
table.
get your hands off me. To the
Sucker.
table, son. So I can definitely say I missed that. But one of the interesting things being that we are in Portland, Oregon. Just a couple pieces of pepper speckled through the crowd.
Not the spreckled.
There was so many slapping beats, and as a young black person,
Oh, I was wondering where we were going.
you have, without you wanting to, when there is a beat,
Yeah, the movement start.
the movement start and the amount of times and looking around and we're like I don't know, shoulder, no neck, no nothing.
No, straight ahead. Straight ahead.
Y'all are tuned in like this is bass reverberating through my body. And y'all ain't giving nothing?
And they're like,
it was the amount of like looking around and wondering.
I don't hear it.
Anyways, I'm going on and on about the things. The last thing that I'll say is I will never not find funny how my white friends in this world give it up it never fails. For one, overhead clapping, I don't get that. I don't understand.
Well, you just did it, and I was like,
how to clap.
Why are we doing this?
I've seen multiple over the head claps, which that feels. How do you even get but then the point of like
it's you. The point makes more sense than the overhead clap.
Yeah, the overhead is just like, get it right here, get it right. I feel like you can't get no good thunderous clap above your head.
I'm all about that. Like I've talked about this. The curtain call is like, it's emotional for me, and it almost always. It doesn't matter what the show is. If I loved it or kind of liked it, didn't really care about it. That moment is like their moment. Those actors who just left it all on the stage, like. And every time I'm like, they're living their dream. I'm just like immediately teary about it.
What was nuts is there was one of the
people play so many parts in that show too. So like the background
definitely looked like a Maury, like hair and face, and I kept being like, that is wild.
Like, how could this be?
Yeah, I just kept seeing that and being like, that I can't unsee
now we
that.
Found
now
her
that
tether.
I've seen that,
okay.
It was just like I was like, wait, what? And then the Thomas Jefferson's right hand man was Nori.
Look like Noriega? N-O-R-E?
I wish I could have snapped a little picky pick, and I couldn't unsee it.
See, now I'm going to have to find that person because I want to know if they talk like Nori. I want to know if there's, some of the major corniness like Nori. And I don't mean that in a messed up way. I mean, like, I love Noriega, but like, my man's is extra corny with a lot of stuff.
That, as soon as dude came out, and he had the cool little high top Juice.
Oh, fade. Okay. We got the stair step.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
But Nori as a 20-something.
Cam, we just did something that we weren't supposed to do.
What?
We've gone deep into the first hour and we have not hit any of our proposed topics, right? But it was too good to not do. And I do just want to say, this is not like an advertisement or anything like that, but as I was, Ambush and I do the news every Thursday on X-Ray, news with my fiance. As I was looking for things, writing the news, I saw the announcement of Broadway in Portland's next season, and I was like, oh, this is a bunch of the shows that, they were the last shows that I saw in New York. When I was still employed. Not anymore. But, so they were supposed to come, like this would have been, if the seasons didn't get all messed up already, by COVID, some of those shows would have come already.
Okay.
And so I was pumped. Like, the new season is very stacked.
I've seen there's like a Temptation story.
That's the show that I saw in New York, and Oprah and Gail were there.
Oh.
Yes.
Auntie Power.
Ran into both of them.
I want to see whatever that is. I feel like that's going to be one of them ones.
The show is lit. Like, it's a show.
I want to get, and we talked about it before, but I just want to come do this after go check out all the shows that come, and then just come do a breakdown, like its own segment.
Yeah. And maybe that's what we should do, because it's right over the bridge now. Yeah. Like, we have a different place to come. Yeah. So we see the show, we come over here. Maybe that's what we'll do. Look at us having production meetings on the show.
Famous for it. Let's get into the killing and dealing.
Killing and dealing. So one is really quick because you got to cover the local murders, right? And there's currently in this moment today, this week,
Okay.
there is a trial happening. That trial is for Nancy Crampton Brophy.
Not to be confused with Nancy Pelosi, but very close.
Definitely don't confuse this woman with the Speaker of the House. Nancy is accused and charged with murdering her husband. She is a local romance novelist. I believe self-published romance novelist.
How do you do that?
You get your books published by yourself.
A lot of time in Kinko's.
So sometimes she's called a mystery writer, sometimes she's called a romance novelist. I'm unsure. I've read none of her books, but the titles are more like The Wrong Man, The Wrong Husband, The Wrong Brother. Like it's a lot.
Wait,
What?
an essay?
So let me get to it. Oh my God. Ken, don't jump ahead in class. So this woman is accused of killing her husband. One of the things that the jury will not hear is that she wrote an essay, and I don't remember what year it was. I will remind myself, but she wrote an essay called How to Kill Your Husband. How to Murder Your Husband. One of the two.
Took a page out of OJ's book.
Listen, but she did
I
this.
have
She did
done
this
it.
beforehand. So,
so he's-
yeah, like
he's the
she did this
copycat
years
killer.
ago. I think 2011. She wrote that in 2011. This murder happened, I believe, 2018. So
And she lived in Beaverton. Oh,
her husband was like a beloved chef and professor at the Culinary Institute here.
okay.
He was killed at the Culinary Institute. He was found by his students,
What?
beloved by his students too. Like there is, if you look up this man's name, like you will find nothing but people being like, he was so amazing.
Yeah.
Right. So he's murdered at work. The students have to stumble upon. They're the ones who, call the police and all the things.
Yeah.
It's, I believe, one gunshot. The essay, I will say, is like, it's a weird one. It's kind of like shooting somebody can be loud and messy. Stabbing someone is very messy. Like, it's that kind of thing where it's like going through options. Really?
If my husband was a culinary chef, I would probably do it where he taught. Because then they would think a student did it.
I mean, she definitely doesn't say that, but yeah. And this did not get entered into evidence. The judge said absolutely not to it because it would be more prejudicial than it would be probative. And shout out to Ella for making me understand really what that like fully means in the way of like that is very prejudicial, right? And so you may not even need that in this case because they have her footage of her car. She said she was at home, said bye to him when he left to work and all of that. And then there's all this footage of her van being around the area of the Culinary Institute. It's not like, next to it or right parked at it or anything, but like a block away and then a different block away. And then, so they're able to map.
Triangulated.
They triangulated basically a route. And then, so we're deep into, at this point, testimony.
Okay.
Last week it was students testifying of stumbling upon him, what they did with that, all of that. This week it's been the police officers that were involved, who came on the scene. The other thing, and I don't know if this does get entered in evidence, but they were having money troubles, and that's normal-ish. And however, not enough money trouble for her to stop paying any of the life insurance policies. So there were multiple
it was
life
coming.
insurance policies
Oh,
on old boy, but it seems like the total of all of them were like 350,000. Like this is not enough to kill somebody, in my opinion.
no.
But in order to get, if you are the beneficiary of any sort of life insurance policy and then someone dies, in order for you to be paid out, if there's a suspicious death, you can't be a suspect or the person that did it, right? Like, so she went to the police and was like, "Hey, can you guys write a letter that says that I'm not a suspect because I need to give that to the insurance company so I can get some bread." Is you gonna do that?
I mean,
Could you write
I guess in the world, business, the world still goes on. Business still has to be handled. The light bill ain't due on another day just because you died.
I mean, you right. I just think that's super bold. Like, to be like, "Hey guys, can you please write me a note that says I'm not a suspect?" And this is like in the very beginning of the thing. Like, she may not have been a suspect, although spouse is always
usually,
the first suspect, is what my understanding is from the propaganda I've been taught. But like, to ask that and for that specific reason was wild to me. Like, I don't know. I feel like that's not going to make the police be like, "Oh, definitely. Yeah, you're no longer a suspect because we have yet to solve this crime." So,
like a notary public, like what do they sign it on a company letterhead? What is
I don't know what's supposed to happen there, but this is this is an ongoing trial in Portland. Court TV has been following it, and I haven't been following what they have been saying because I can only imagine. But there's lots of different, thoughts around why she did this and
her next novel? What was the lady in The Shining?
what was Kathy Bates' name in there?
Yeah, her.
No, not The Shining.
Not The Shining.
You
You're
mean
right.
Misery?
Misery. There we
Yeah.
go. That's.
I don't know how I knew you meant Kathy Bates when
Because
you
you
asked
know
that,
me.
But yeah,
You know my heart.
I do know your heart.
So you got to be my PR person.
No, guys, I can tell you what's in his heart. He's not racist. Annie Wilkes, that's her name.
Okay.
In Misery.
So he was trying to get some inspo.
Bruh. So we got to be kind of quick because this next one is a little wild. Last week there was a different murder, and I don't even really know how to explain this, Ken. So there's a OnlyFans IG model with 2 million followers on Instagram. White woman named Courtney Cleaney, if I'm saying it right.
Okay.
She killed her boyfriend. I don't think that there's that. She's accused of it, but I don't think it's actually like in question.
Yeah.
At this point. So last week it was like we see these pictures. She's in a bra and sweatpants, covered in blood, on her balcony or whatever at her home in Miami.
Yeah.
And last week when this happened, she was taken into custody, but she was taken to a hospital because she had threatened suicide.
Yeah.
She has not been arrested
Nope.
at all. She is claiming self-defense.
And they used the Baker Act. That was something that kept coming out.
Tell me, what do you mean?
Because once it's what was it? You being able to go to, it has to do with release. I think it might even say it in here, to protect your name from being released. Because if you do something about like, I'm crazy, or I'm having an episode, that they have to take you to.
Okay, so this makes sense.
Yeah, take you to a place for a certain amount of time to
do an evaluation.
treatment,
Yeah, so
and that's
some
before
sort of
being able to
72-hour hold,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, she definitely, I mean, she threatened suicide, and they took her to a institution where she, you know, hospital or where she could be watched. And then what I don't love about that language is that's not taking someone into custody, right? That is completely different. That is taking someone to a hospital. She was not in custody. You can be a suspect that is in custody and be at a hospital, but that means there is supervision of you in a way that is not just the hospital staff, right? There's a police officer there. You may be handcuffed to the bed. There's things that are, you're in custody, you do not get to just get up, get dressed, and leave.
Yeah.
And even though she may not have been able to just get up and get dressed and leave until the hold is over, once the hold is over, she could just get up, get dressed, and leave. And still is in a position where she has not been arrested. She is claiming self-defense. I'm assuming this, you know, the police are saying it's an ongoing investigation, so they can't really comment on it.
Okay.
But the idea to me, I just haven't seen this happen where, you know, someone murders someone else and then says this was self-defense, but doesn't get some sort of arrested, some sort of detained, some sort, you know what I mean? Like,
good interrogation.
if she had been arrested, arraigned, and then she got bail because she's saying this is self-defense and I'm not a flight risk and all of those things, that in this system makes sense to me. But the idea that she has not been arrested, although her lawyer is like, yeah, that happened, but it's self-defense, that's confusing to me. I don't understand how that's...
I'm in the same boat as you of, I don't understand what exactly is happening. Being that all the evidence points towards, when there's people who are in jail for life with no actual evidence, so it's moments like...
Or on death row with no actual evidence. Or
Just
5 months. I don't care what it is.
Circumstantial.
Sorry, I'm yelling over you, but like, I don't care what the actual sentence is. It could be 3 weeks
regardless.
to the death penalty. There are too many cases where people literally
convicted. You have
zero evidence.
There's stuff that says this definitely...
The knife is from your kitchen. You know, like...
And for you to not be, and yeah, I can understand if you had a meltdown, this could be whatever.
Right.
Don't know any facts of anything, right? You're claiming this was self-defense.
Cool.
And
we're going to have to take you in, arrest you.
Still in this space until we know some, and I do know that there is times that they have to back off to do their investigation thing, but this isn't a situation where we don't know.
We don't know. This is not a situation of, I wonder if it was a like a random person.
Yeah.
Like, this is, now it's going to be a a story that is a defense, and then it's going to be the people that know this person saying, I don't think that's true.
We'll see. I'm sure there's going to be something come out of like, I was bruised.
Well, that's the thing that's already started.
Yeah.
Basically, her lawyer is saying, you know, this was a self-defense issue. They've had a tumultuous relationship. There was all sorts of physical and emotional abuse from him to her. But this was the thing which, you know, it's a sticky wicket, as they say, because
Wet Willie.
Women are abused, women are trafficked,
Yes.
women are all of those things.
Yeah.
And then there are women who are not those things, but then they use those things in order to get out of things, right? And I'm not saying that's the case here because I obviously don't know.
Right.
But what I do know is what I think is that it's interesting that the lawyer is like, there was obviously domestic violence happening. There was obviously a tumultuous relationship. There isn't that obvious evidence of that. Her friends are saying, we've never seen him hit her.
Uh-oh.
We have only ever seen her hit him.
Uh-oh.
So that's tricky, right? And then
So where was
they
the
added
tumult
in,
from?
right, like, maybe I'll argue, maybe, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and there, again, this is a weird, I don't have a relationship with someone who is like a 2 million person followed kind of situation, right? But like, she has no mention of that man on any of her social media, and then she is basically all throughout his social media, right? So there's some clout things happening there. But the thing that is really making me raise my eyebrow is throwing in her lawyer said that there's a possibility that she was trafficked, and not making that clear if that means by someone else or previous in life or by this man that we're talking about. And so when you're vague about something so big, something so massive, if what your claim is that she was Centoya Brown, which I don't know how to tell y'all this, but that don't be working when actual women, children, and women being trafficked are able to get into a position where they either harm or murder their trafficker, they go to prison. So for this to be a sort of, it seems like an upsell, right? Like it seems like and this too, because it's very vague and it's not being clear on if they're saying it's him. They're not being clear on because what does possibly being trafficked mean? So I just want to throw this out there because I know we have a very short amount of time. This is also a tumultuous kind of conversation because she was on a podcast in which she gave the quote that she only dates rich black guys. And this particular black man has had many statements on the internet sort of outlining how much he
Was
does.
he a rich?
I mean, they look like they had things.
Okay.
I don't know if he had the things or if she had the
Okay.
things. I mean,
Okay,
he
so we
doesn't
don't know.
He doesn't have a 2 million following. Like, I'm assuming she's making money off of that, right? So I don't know.
Yeah.
But he made many statements about how much he despises and hates black women. So this is an interesting little dichotomy on its own, of race relations, if you will.
Yep.
And that has given the court of public opinion, the internet, so much fodder and so much to talk about because it's like, do you even care that this dude died? And it's not, for me, it's never that. It's never, do I care if someone was murdered?
Yeah.
Yes, I care.
Yeah.
Am I going to march in the street for this particular man?
Yeah.
No.
And that's what pops in my mind after hearing that stuff, where I know that they were saying, is his brother, kind of pleading for people to rally.
Yeah, come
rally,
help us.
rally.
We've got this injustice happening.
Yeah. And as you said, yes, the injustice part, somebody being murdered, trash. But you've played your hand on how you feel about.
And for everybody listening to my words right now, know that the front line of every movement is black women. So you're going to spend your time saying how awful they are, how ghetto they are, how you can't stand, how you want no parts, all these things. And then you need us though. And so chill out.
Which that always gives off the vibe of you could never, and that's why you do it. And that's something that with my partners, or not even my partners, but
Right.
I'm
But
thinking
when
of a
you see
specific partner, but then having other people who keep addressing things that nobody asked about. When nobody is asking about a thing and you feel the need to keep bringing that thing
To the forefront.
then that's,
This you.
yeah.
That's your anti-blackness. That's your internal stuff. That's all of that. We know the reasons why black people don't like black people, right? Thank you for absolutely nothing white supremacy. Thank you for absolutely nothing all of the systems that we live within.
Yeah.
Colorism, sexism, all of the things. Like, but the idea the idea that we should now rally for you when you've been very clear about where you're at.
Yeah.
I mean, nah. I hope that this whole situation goes the way that it's supposed to go. I do not believe in, people just getting to walk away from the thing that they did, especially when they're
Yeah.
pulling some buffoonery, some trickery. Not a fan. But I'm going to keep my eye on this particular
Yeah.
thing because I think it's
This definitely was
such a messy boot situation that,
We need to circle back.
yeah.
One last question before we get out of here right quick. When we were just talking about like things we don't like and da-da-da-da, is there a dinosaur you don't like?
A dinosaur.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a dinosaur that I can think of that I don't like, but
Okay.
there are ones that I like better than
Okay.
others, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Do you have an answer for that question?
Yeah, like Brontosaurus always made me feel like, why are you here?
Oh, I love the Brontosaurus. That's the little short stubby dude, right? Nah. Oh, the Brontosaurus with the long neck?
yeah,
I always get this wrong.
yeah.
What's the one that I'm thinking of with the...
Stegosaurus.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
I like those.
Because I feel like that's his.
That's Land Before
What
Time-ish.
he was talking about is probably how if I was alive in dinosaur time, I'd be making posts about the Brontosaurus. Like,
All right. Thank y'all for listening to the Unrefined Sophisticates podcast.
I got it in the top hour, y'all. We will be back after these messages. Guess who's back in the motherland with a band family recognize, do too, get scandalous and pull a voodoo.
What you gonna do?
I really don't know, but I'd advise you not to
trust these.
silly of me to fall in love with her, knowing damn well once she caught up with my good eyes, the sun rotates and my dick gets bigger. How many one up this night? Doggy, all the above.
On my toes to get caught up with you.
Sleep. You know, yeah. Woo! Hey, now you know. Inhale, exhale with my flow. One for the money, two for the bitches, three to get ready, and four to hit the switches in my Chevy. 6 rag to be exact, with bitches on my side and bitches on my back. So back up, bitch, because I'm struggling. So get on your knees and just start juggling. These motherfucking nuts in your mouth. It's me, Warren G, the nigga with the clout. It ain't no fun if the homies can't have none. It ain't no fun if the homies
I like this
can't
little remix you
have none. Oh.
That's exactly how I feel about the tequila. So it ain't no fun if the homies can't have none and all my cups is empty.
Dun-dun-dun-dun. I can give you a shot of the...
It's the fun half.
Well, this is the special joint. That's why this.
Oh, that's
wasn't
why
just
when I
going.
said, wow, that's really tasty.
Da-da-da, la-di-da-di-da.
Okay, see, you was about to waste the good stuff.
La-di-da-di-da. Cameraman. Screaming.
Not Dawson's Park.
DP, are you with me? Oh yeah. Put your motherfucking hands together now. Strong.
It's about to be a mess.
We back in the second half. Cheers up. Bottoms
Here it
up.
That is tasty. That's a sweet treat, if you will.
Tequila with a tequila back.
That's where you at today.
Ooh. 2 different types.
We back up in it.
All right.
I don't know these timestamps anymore. I used to have like I used to, record it on my end too, so I would have an idea of what the time is. Oh, but the thing is it wasn't there before. The timer?
Oh no, that was there.
It wasn't on my end.
Oh.
I did not see the timer before. That's why I put the weird time for our timestamp earlier. Don't look at me like that.
You need more people.
I mean,
we all sharing the screen. It's cool if it was an oversight.
it wasn't.
Also, I stole your charger, just as an FYI.
Oh my God!
Cause you got the juice and I don't.
You know what doesn't work?
Huh?
Theft.
It wasn't theft.
No, it is absolutely theft if it's non-consensual. You did not ask me if you could use my charger.
Do you live in America?
Yeah.
Do you consider yourself an American?
I mean, I guess.
Well, in America.
You're about to tell me possession is 9/10 of the law. I will kick every table over. And I'm wearing my day breaks. I will do it.
No. What I was going to say is the man that you're going to marry is in this room.
That's true.
Traditional American culture.
I cannot wait to see where this.
What is yours is his. What's his is yours.
Once you're
Yes or
married,
no?
sure.
How long y'all been together?
Once
sir?
you're married,
Scream man.
man in the chair.
Better part of a decade.
Common law, marriage, in effect.
I think that's where it's going.
Yo, I did too, and I was hoping you wouldn't be like a better part of a decade. But okay, here we are.
So
Okay, so Ambush said you
man's
could use
agreed, which therefore took that from theft to borrowing. And then I acknowledged it.
I'm so ready to get the show started.
The show has started. This is the show.
Yeah, but this ain't the show.
This is the show.
And if you're not passing out any more shots, then we have to get started.
Well, Jesse Smollett.
You said the gay Tupac?
The gay Tupac is definitely passing out shots.
Can we talk about real quick giving yourself that name? I mean, obviously not you, but like, can we talk about how out of pocket it is to say, number one, I'm a Tupac variant, right? Like I'm a multiverse
I have
Tupac.
embodied the multi.
Like, can we just
That's wild.
things you don't get to do?
Is that for 18?
That's number one. Number two, I don't even think he meant to do that, because the times that Tupac was in legal entanglements, you don't want that smoke, sir. So like, and you weren't fighting that smoke, sir. Like, those weren't the charges you had to deal with, sir.
At all.
Like, this is not, we are not the same. This is not the same. It ain't even close. I don't even understand, not even at all, like the reference. I don't get it. And it has absolutely nothing to do with him being like, I'm the gay Tupac. If he was like, I'm the Empire Tupac, I'm the Chicago Tupac, like none of it would have, and this isn't even like me being like, Tupac is the best thing that ever happened. I don't understand why you would use that reference if ain't none of your life been his life, ain't none of your things been his things, ain't
he has the juice right now.
Which one?
And he is willing to Machiavelli himself.
Goodbye. You know what?
I'm just saying.
Okay.
That's where he's at. He's willing to go against the system.
Because he Machiavelli'd this situation, you mean to tell me he synced it before it happened and he wasn't able to do this better so that he didn't look like he just made this whole thing up?
Well, that's the thing. It was a 7-day theory. He thought.
Don't let me out. Wow. It was a 7-day theory.
It was a 7-day theory.
You know what? Come for me.
It got.
It was there. All right.
Smile.
Hail Mary. So your boy comes out. He was convicted of faking it till he made it, and he didn't make it.
Oh, so he was just faking.
I mean, so the justice system says, right? He went through every piece of the justice system, and at the end of it, they said, "Sir, you made this whole situation up. You paid these Nigerian men to pretend like they hurt you, and they didn't. And you paid them and called it personal training. It wasn't. We ain't buying none of this. You paid these people to put a noose around your neck in the dead middle of the night in Chicago when it was like 47 below.
I want to know what the act out was. Like, what the prep. I
want to know the prep, and I definitely want to see. I want the footage. I want to see
the practice
when he gets like apprehended by the two dudes. You know what I mean? Or confronted. Apprehended is the wrong word. When he gets confronted on the street by two people in MAGA hats that are this and that. Like, my man's. If we're gonna go the route that this is and again, we just even in this particular episode talked about how black people can be anti-black. Absolutely, there are plenty of black people that wear a MAGA hat and believe in all of the things that come with that MAGA hat.
Like what? Like taxes being cheaper.
Oh, for who? Yes, taxes cheaper for the very rich, okay. Much more for the very poor. I don't think it's a fiscally MAGA. I think it's a culturally MAGA.
Okay.
So it's more like I shut down my border because I don't want those others coming through, and also those blacks really need to get a job. I don't know why they want to sell drugs. And there are super anti-black black people.
Okay.
there are super anti-black black immigrants too that will tell you right now, today, you better shut that border down because they coming for all our things. However, that's a lot of nuance to have to cover in a story like this, right? Like, you would have to be able to outline, these people would have to be the Hobbs twins or Hoff twin, whatever those people's names are, that are out here being anti-black on the internet, for you to just be like, yep, it was black people that hurt me with the MAGA hats on and put a noose around my neck. And then I took the noose off, but then my homie told me to put the noose back on.
Did he have a Subway sandwich or something?
He was on his way to Subway.
Oh,
I don't know if he ever even got it. I don't know if he ate. You know what? Jesse could have never ate that night. You know what I'm saying? Like, the timeline is supposed to.
He ate that storyline that he made up.
This ain't even what we supposed to be talking about. But here we are. Your man's took a flight into Chicago, and he got in, and it was like 2-something in the morning when he was like, must eat, gonna just go ahead and walk this out myself, and left whatever hotel or whatever situation he was in, and supposedly walked to a Subway.
So with him being the gay Tupac, did he drop fire or not?
Yo! The song that he dropped directly following being released from jail, because I want to make sure that everybody understands.
Pac.
I want to make sure everybody understands.
Spit out of the camera though.
I ain't see it. I also saw him say some like, "Thank you, Your Honor. I respect you." And Pac ain't never say that.
Ain't how Pac be talking.
Pac don't talk like that.
Nah.
Or didn't. He dropped a song. It's called "Thank You, God." This is to be clear, he got like his sentence was like 3 weeks or something. It wasn't like my man wasn't in prison. He never went to prison. Be clear.
Do you think for that 3 week sentence, he was thinking like, I gotta get a shank. I gotta make some dice.
I don't
Paper.
think he thought any of that.
Nah.
I think he wrote "Thank You, God," and then
TYG. He left the bass out.
Yeah, I don't think he was thinking about his safety in the same way of like actually creating his own weapons and making sure that he had things. I think he had,
because Pac, people love Pac. So if he came in as the gay Tupac, it was he's carrying on that legacy, and people don't play about Pac. So could it be that he took it that I got 2 weeks in here? And you get a little tummy tap.
If you don't get out of my face with your 2-3 weeks of anything, you could be at outdoor school.
Yeah, I feel like you can go without eating for 2 weeks and live.
I think you can.
Yeah, just some water.
Gotta have some water.
Yeah,
Maybe a little
little fresh Northwest air.
you know. But yeah. My man was not living a trialed life in this moment. Going to jail, let me be clear, I'm not trying to act like that's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But he went to jail, he did not go to prison. And I think that there is a very big misunderstanding of the two.
Yeah.
Right?
That is a thing.
And, you know, people will say like prison for all of it.
I'm going to give a quick thing. If somebody's sentenced to anything under 1 year and 1 day, they're in jail.
Yes.
Which is your local county jail. A year and a day, that's prison. Typically, a year and a day means you're going to prison. People can be in jail longer than a year and a day, but
Yes.
sentenced.
And know that there are a lot of people in jail today who have been in jail for more than a year and a day
Yeah.
who don't even have a charge yet,
Exactly.
just being held.
Shout out Rikers.
And
I mean,
that doesn't
shout
seem
out.
legal, but you know. So your boy spent the 3 weeks writing. I don't know, maybe he wrote more than the song that he dropped as soon as he got out. But you know, his SoundCloud pops, I guess, and he wanted to make sure that he got something out immediately after his release.
Well,
And thank you, God. Because we're now in a situation where I don't know if that will play the way that we need it to play.
What if it turned into a mega hit?
Well, it won't. Have you heard it? Because it won't. He put a snippet on his Instagram, and I was going to play that snippet, but I'm unsure where the snippet will play. You know what I mean? Like,
what if the machine got behind him?
the machine could get behind this, and it still doesn't matter. This will not be a
That would be a
situation.
perfect like cover for the gay Tupac. And the baby was out here being a whole adult.
So we just gonna move forward? Fair enough.
I was
We just gonna be out of it. All right.
I was trying to get out of there before you said anything.
Wow. All right. So next topic. We talked about I think we talked about the baby last week, right?
Yeah.
And how he was like, "Here, let me show y'all what sexual assault looks like."
little extra down.
I mean, I think he was on like every drug you could be on in that moment, or he was just like white girl wasted.
Casamigos is the popular drink of the youths.
And he went to town.
Yeah.
Whatever was happening, my man was blacked out. Like, and I'm not saying that that's like an
That's a
excuse.
reason,
I'm
but-
just saying what I saw was somebody who was not in their body doing things, and yeah. So that was last week.
So what we know of the baby is
It's hard to keep staff.
the man don't be playing about the square that he stands on.
Yeah. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
The baby has, in self-defense, killed a man
Yes.
inside of a Walmart
Yes.
that tried to play with him.
Yeah, and to be, for listeners that don't really know what play with him means, threatened his life.
Yeah.
Like it was a self-defense situation.
Yes.
It was not like,
He just was
and I'm only saying this for the
Wow.
people that like don't really understand AAAV, where they're like, play with him. What does
Yeah.
that mean? Like,
Yeah.
nah. This was a situation where that's a self-defense
yeah.
killing.
Yeah.
You know, like he killed a person in a Walmart, but it was self-defense.
And the clear self-defense.
Yeah,
There
no
was
arrest, no nothing. It was very clear.
Yeah. And then there's a video that I think helped push his stardom in terms of just being somebody who will stand on their square, of him being in a part of town filming a video, and the people in that part of town that wasn't his part of town came to ask him about
His part of town.
his part of town, and who he had checked in with to be in this part of town. Mm-hmm. And for the people of the culture, you understand what
You
that
know
could
what that
be.
means.
And for him to let them know that he don't have the big homies. There's no checking in that he does. He comes here in respect, but at the same time, he don't get down like that.
Your rules are not my rules.
And that was for people to know you're not in your place, and to be standing on that square says a lot about who you are as.
Indeed.
And there's been other situations.
There have been
through-
so many situations with the baby. He just kind of stays in the sphere.
And the interesting thing for the people who are not of the culture, who may come across and see like the goofy antics of the videos where it's a lot of
Exaggerations.
Yeah,
There's lots of
there you go.
animation. There's
Yes.
dramatics, if you will.
Yeah, there's the element of that we see time and time again, that he's really not playing. Back to what Morgan gave you guys the breakdown for those who don't understand.
And for the people in the culture, he's with the shits.
with the shits,
And it's kind of all of the shits. He's with every
Oh, yeah.
one of the shits.
yeah,
Yeah.
So someone tried to home invade.
I don't even know if that person tried to get in his house, but that person was on his property, right? Like, and that person was not invited. That person was not supposed to be there. That person jumped a fence or climbed or got dropped by a drone. Whatever that person did to get on that side of the gate, that person did that thing. And that person wasn't supposed to. And what was interesting to me, Ken, is, so DaBaby shot this person in the leg, which is what I continuously ask. Why don't the police shoot people in the leg if they're running away and they want them to, not that I want the police to shoot people, period, but like, if you're gonna whip your gun out and shoot somebody, why aren't you shooting to disable, not murder, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, he shoots this person in the leg, and then he calls the police. He calls the police. There is now 911. The 911 call of him calling the police is now on the internet. Yesterday, when this whole news broke, there was this this question, right? It was
question.
All of the headlines were sort of reading, DaBaby involved in a shooting. DaBaby shooting at DaBaby's house, he was involved. Like it, but not saying he shot this person or that he was shot or whatever, right? And so the police gave a statement that said, we are unclear on his involvement. And this is where I have spent my entire life, right? Like as an adult working. And in doing that, you have to communicate with your coworkers. And there's like, I've never not had to communicate with my coworkers. And I have spent most of my career in customer service of some sort. I'm a person who believes that every single job is customer service, but like mine specifically, live entertainment is customer service, right? There is no not talking to the box office or the so-and-so and the guest services, that like there's so many moving parts. We all have to talk to each other. The idea that the actual same department, like it's not even like this is in that scenario, like the box office not talking to guest services.
Right.
This is all the police department, right? Every single part of it. Here's the overclack. All of the police department. If you're the person answering the calls, the 911 calls, you're maybe not a uniformed police officer, but you work for the same, and you dispatch those people out, right?
Okay.
So for the police to be like, yeah, we don't really know his level of involvement, I don't know, but he has called y'all and been like, hey, yo, there's a person that tried to, that was trespassing, he tried to get into my house, I shot him in the leg, you don't hear him down here writhing in pain, that's what's happening. Come send some people now, and when you send the people, tell them when they get close to put the sirens on so I know to open the gate, because he has a moat and a gate, and there's alligators out there. I don't know, but like he needs to know to open the gate, because I'm poor and I don't have, you could just come right to my door. He's not, and you're gonna need to put the sirens on. The fact that the people, that the police that came there, they put the sirens on so he would open the gate. The fact that they got there and were like, we don't know this guy's level of involvement. This is nuts, right?
Do you think that's intentional because this is a celebrity and be considered high profile? So before them just throwing information out?
Yeah, I would love to say yes to that. I think that's a part of it. Yes.
Okay.
But also, we just watched that white woman not get arrested for killing somebody when we know she killed somebody. So like,
but she's also not like a celebrity. She may be popular.
No, that's what so that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Like, so yes, I think that's part of it.
Okay.
But there's also, we know that the police move the way they want to when they want to.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, that's probably part of it. But DaBaby is also still a black man.
Yeah.
So like, it's not just like, oh, okay, you're you're famous, so we don't care. Like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Cuba Gooding Jr. just went through, like, I didn't even know this until today. My man just pleaded guilty to a bunch of things. Had no idea. You can be
Radio?
black, you can be black, you can be a man, you can be a super famous man. They still gonna get you for the things if they want to.
Trey?
Man. Shadowboxing. Forcible touching is what he pled guilty to. Of multiple people. But apparently also has like a rape case going right now, and I didn't really know about that. So anyway,
He went from radio to a Bluetooth speaker.
I don't understand how they can be like, what did you say? Went from radio to what? Catch that on the replay. I don't understand how you can go from this is the person that called the police to let y'all know to even show up here to like, I don't know this person's level of involvement. Because in the phone call, in the 911 call, he makes it clear this person trespassed. I shot this person in their leg. He's there. Come get him.
Yeah. Wailing in pain.
Wailing. Come get him. I don't know how any of those headlines could have been like, we don't know what happened.
Can I give the quote that the baby gave?
Please.
In wishing
Please update us on what he said today.
The best. He says, chose not to take a nigga life the other day and it felt great. But he ain't deserved to go. I stepped righteously. Heal up and live, my boy.
My
Just
boy.
don't bring your ass back.
I mean, there might be some nightmares going on
leg
with.
shots. Yeah, that's me.
Hey, there may be some nightmares happening with the person that he murdered before. You know,
Look,
like that's not a thing. That's whether it's self-defense.
even
it's not,
that's
it's
a great callback
like,
to the show, the Hamilton. Like killing
it is.
a man is not.
It's not easy.
It's not easy.
That's not just like I did it and I'm moving forward.
Easy.
Yeah.
Dealing with it.
Yes. Thank you for the yes. I was with you, but thank you for the clarification. Yeah, like that's not just I did it, it was justified, and so now I just go work on, go and type my emails. Like that's just not it.
So
it's a weird situation for us to continuously have to deal with the baby in this way.
And also, let me just say this too, in the space of because like gun owners, you have gun owners, and then you have people who are comfortable with guns. Those are different. Mm-hmm. You can have a gun, not be comfortable shooting a gun.
Okay.
So in the space of what this looks like, this was this to me sounds like this wasn't an accidental leg shot and then oh no, it's
he does target practice. He understands where
Sit down for a second and we're gonna talk through this.
I'm going to disarm or disable you in this moment.
Yes.
I feel like that's not the right word, but like detain you.
No, it's disabled. That's
is it? Okay, that is the right word. Okay. I'm gonna disable you in this moment. This isn't a unique. You haven't aggressed me so much that I fear for my life. But I can't understand why you're here. So sit down.
Have a several C's.
The way that the media just really played that like someone else did that and the baby just happened to be there. You know what I mean? But like, no, this is his house. He was at home. This person shows up. Like, all of that is clear. And that's the thing that gets me. Like, why are we rushing to have, or why are we creating a different story with it if we know it?
So this is where I get at sometimes.
I don't mean the media knew it. I mean the police definitely.
I get to where we are in and have been for a while now in the age of who can break it first, regardless if it's right or wrong. It's just what bit of information do I have and how fast can I get this out?
So ugly.
And so in that space, it leaves for, being that he is of celebrity, us just having his name without any of the facts to actually go. Like, think about how many times we've seen something happen and it'd be like breaking news and it'd be a joint that's a paragraph, not even 6 sentences. We know that XY has been involved in XY. More details coming later. Just to be able to have a thing that when the Google, you'll be able to get ranked. That's what that boils down to. So we see a bunch of this stuff when there's moments of like, how could, why could, because traffic is going to go to their site and they can update it later.
Yeah, okay.
That's what I think about in some of these spaces. Let me ask you a question though.
Yeah.
Do you remember BET?
The network?
The network.
Indeed.
Black Entertainment Television.
I do.
You do.
Spend a lot of my
Uncut?
youth. I do.
Why'd you laugh like that? What video made you remember Uncut?
Swipe or no swiping. It was the Nelly video where swipe the credit card.
When I to this day, when I say is my credit good, and people don't know what that means, that's one of those moments of like wanting to retreat because I'm like, I don't want to explain this.
I can't actually explain this to you.
I gotta think it out.
Because that was weird.
There was actually another joint in there. I think it was called like White Girls, and it was a dude that must have been like a college light-skinned black guy, and it was like it was. Think of what Lil B was doing video wise.
Okay.
It was that style, and it was like him in a college dorm with just, and it was hella graphic in terms of the content.
Okay.
Of wilding with the white girls, and I remember that being a video that stood out to me on Uncut.
On Uncut.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Nelly's Tip Drill was definitely
Tip Drill. Thank you. I was
the
like, what is the
video
name of
that will forever remain in the hearts and minds
Yes.
of young blacks across America. It must be yo, cause it ain't your face. I need a tip drill. And for those listeners that may not be of the culture, let me give you just a brief. A tip drill is, their missionary is for people that you are probably enjoy their facial features. And then there's people who have below the neck features that are amazing. The above the neck features may not be the best.
For people not of the culture, I think you call this a butter face.
Butter face. What are the whites going like? Put a bag over like that?
No, that's what. Well, yes.
Yeah, I was. Yep. And
I feel like I'm earning myself a shot, but I'm gonna pass it over. Of the special things, I have earned it by this conversation.
But this is one of the things about BET that I've heard for a very long time. It's used in arguments of, well, why is there not a white entertainment television?
Oh my God!
As
so
if
much.
every other 1,618 channels
weren't exactly
full
that.
of white entertainment. Then we came across a great day in history where there was a Black History Month. Why? Because the contributions that blacks have been made to this country had not been highlighted.
No.
Outside of picking the cottons.
Well, and then outside of the people the government murdered, and then we're like, oh, we like that person. Y'all can have MLK Day.
So there was a Black History Month. We know that. 28 days of
Shortest month of the
Black
year.
history.
You know? We like even numbers.
And for
the
a while,
blacks.
there was a lot of history tied to like the goods, the ones that they murdered and wanted to paint as being the nice.
They rehabilitated those people in order to not have to talk about other people.
Yes.
And in order to not have to talk about other murders they did.
Yes.
So, okay, MLK isn't that bad anymore. But y'all got to understand that MLK was enemy number one to the FBI. What's that dude's name? The head of the FBI? Hoover.
Yeah.
Your man definitely was like, no, this is they gotta go.
The threats.
So for that, for that to be the case in real time and then murder those people and then also be like, MLK had a dream.
Yeah.
And
Loved the
we in this country, what we pay attention to is the content of people's character and
They
not
forget
the
about the
color
letter from
of their
Birmingham.
skin.
Y'all be forgetting about that letter from Birmingham, huh?
Forget about the whole thing.
But
Anyway, sorry.
with that, and I know people are like, well,
Where are we
BET
going?
in white entertainment television?
It's April.
Because
What's your
that's
problem?
usually a counter, the same way that Black Lives Matter turned into All Lives Matter. So here in
Double S. Double S. Double B. That's off the top, baby. That's just the dynamic.
It's y'all mixtape coming soon. Happy, joy.
Happy.
Actually,
Wait, how do
it's
you
April
say?
right now.
Yeah, no, that's the thing.
Happy Confederate Heritage Month.
It's time.
The losers will shine.
Yes, finally.
Second place has never been better. There were 2 spots.
There was a winner and a loser.
The losers will be celebrated.
Forever and
Forevermore.
always. In April. In 7 southern states. Because
7
This is
southern
ju-
states, and I guess I'm gonna say that listeners, you can guess, and you're right. You're right. Those 7 that you're thinking, you're right.
so Mississippi, I think, is the latest to say, we got to get this on the books, you guys. Like, April is a solid month and we're missing a theme. Let's go ahead and make that Confederate Heritage Month. It just doesn't track with how you can be a part of the current government, like an elected official. I mean, I don't mean like a part of the government. An elected official, governor, to declare Confederate Heritage Month
Everything
when
about
y'all lost. Like you didn't win. You lost. It's the biggest L, right? And then because you lost slaves, so it was a big old L.
Yeah.
You lost the livelihood,
Yep.
so to speak, in that moment.
Yep.
You fought for it and you lost, and then you were like, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna rewrite the history.
Fast and quick.
And those same losers of that war went hard and fast with the Daughters of the Confederacy, Sons of the Confederacy.
They had Daughters of the Confederacy?
Oh, yeah. And they are active and they are incredibly racist. Think women who would be like, Emmett Till winked at me.
Got it.
Kill him.
I don't like it, but I got it.
Yeah, it's those women. And they, go around and do exactly the same thing that the Sons of the Confederacy do, which is, big air quotes, preserve their legacy, which has absolutely nothing to do with racism and has absolutely nothing to do with slavery. It's all about the heritage of the South, but they can't get beyond that statement. What is the heritage of the South if it isn't the slavery?
Rye bread.
Yeah, no, those are, nope,
All right, let me try again.
came from somewhere else.
Try again. Let me try again.
And those are other
Freedom
people they
fries.
don't like.
No? Salisbury steak.
They probably like that. You know what? Because gross. And if that's your choice, friends,
That's your choice.
it's a self-report. The taste buds ain't budding.
Nah.
Anyway,
Governor Tate Reeves has a look.
you like a son of a Confederate.
Definitely. Like, when we talk LARPing, I can see.
My man spent a lot of time doing Dungeons and Dragons, and
There's
he was
definitely
not getting picked.
a door in his home that leads to a lot of Civil War memorabilia.
Yes.
And he puts the coats on often.
You know, like looking at him, the door could lead to a lot of things.
Definitely.
The door could lead to a Confederate situation. It could lead to a child locked in the basement situation. It could lead to a woman locked in the basement situation. He's given a lot of incel, possibly pedophile energy here.
Yeah.
And I want to be clear. I'm not saying that the Dungeons and Dragons friends are in that same
No,
boat. I'm
we
not.
rock with y'all.
I'm not.
Friends of the show.
Friends of the show. D&D all day, baby.
Yeah.
This dude, what I was trying to say is he looks like he plays that and doesn't get picked to be played with. Like, nobody wants to do your, what are they called? Tours.
Yeah.
No one wants to play with you.
Anybody at that age that still has the rosy cheeks that look like it could be remnants of acne knows going crazy on people's physical attributes, but there's like a certain level of stress that I feel.
That's just ever present.
Yes.
An ever present, someone might find that 13-year-old in my basement. So what I should do is just wrap that person in a Confederate flag. And then, so what this news did for me, Can, because this is news, right? Like this is
something I
this
woke
is
up
this
to.
week. Mississippi governor and Republicans celebrate Confederate Heritage Month.
Yeah.
He declares it that in Mississippi. You get to do those things when you're the governor. But the thing that I learned in that moment was there are multiple Confederate museums. And I don't mean Civil War museums where you've got both things going and we're trying to teach you the history. And even if I feel like that history isn't it's the sugar-coated version of that history, they're supposedly giving both of that. I'm talking full-blown. We are just talking about the Confederates here. We are just talking about the people that were trying to save the South.
Yeah.
There is the National Confederate Museum in Tennessee that opened in 2020, which, if you're counting, is 2 years ago. And that particular place was opened by the Sons of the Confederate Veterans. Sons of the Confederate Veterans.
Son of a.
The thing that got me about this is because the kind of conversation that's happening today, like, and I'm not going to go too far because this is a brand new thing, but Elon Musk is doing trying to do a hostile takeover of Twitter.
Yeah.
And in that hostile takeover of Twitter, it's like free speech is so important that we need everything to be privately owned. If it's privately owned, then nobody can tell us what to do. And the difference of that is a publicly traded company, which is how you become a billionaire. Not only how, you have to do other things too, but part of how these companies become valuated at so much money and then speculated and become, billion-dollar entities based on stock purchases. This particular group was like, we will not ever be owned by anybody else because we will not teach that watered down history. This is not our history, and our heritage ain't got nothing to do with slavery. But then they still don't tell you what it got anything to do with.
No.
They literally don't. It's like, you know, there are this is all about slavery provocateurs that come to that say that our heritage is all about slavery, but it's not, and then they don't go, this is what our heritage is about. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, they are privately owned in order to be able to present whatever exhibits they want to. They get to say whatever they want on their website and their things and the stuffs, and it is this idea that if you are a privately owned company, nothing could happen to you. No one could cancel. No one could, which again, I'm a forever and always say, they lied to you, and cancel culture is not real.
Yes.
Not in the way that it is
Glad you
portrayed.
iterate that regularly.
Huh?
I'm glad you iterate that regularly.
Thank you.
That it's not a thing.
It's not a thing. It's not a thing. But so, you know, in an effort to not be canceled, I suppose, they went this route of private funding,
Yeah.
so that they are always in control of their own exhibits. And I don't know, because I'm not in Tennessee, what exactly those exhibits are right now. You can take a 3D tour of one of the houses that they have on their property. But you can't see other things. But this was the moment for me of like, whoa, really missed that. Didn't even know this was a thing. And I'm like, you know, this in 2020, I definitely would have been talking about this. And I didn't at all, just fully under the radar. And 2 years later, they're just out here selling tickets.
Do you think in the South, you know how we have Martin Luther King Boulevard?
Boulevards everywhere.
And that's like, is there, who would be like Ulysses S. Grant? Like,
No, it wouldn't be Ulysses S. Grant. It would be Robert E. Lee.
Yeah,
It
there
would
we
be
go. That's-
Stonewall Jackson.
Robert E. Lee. Are there Robert E. Lee Boulevards in these places that's like, but is there like a version of MLK?
You know, no.
Nah.
But like they have their faces, carved
Yeah.
into mountains. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they're like, fuck your street.
Yeah. Okay. I get it. We'll take this mountain.
Yeah. Like Stonewall Jackson literally is in a mountain
Yeah.
in a national park, and people are like, can't wait to go to that park in Atlanta. Like,
Selfie time.
and he's just, looking down.
Proud of his
The monuments that have been made to Confederate soldiers, which again, losers of a war, who waged war against their own country and lost.
Your last.
All of the monuments to those people, all of the schools named after those people, the amount of, and I'm not even being funny here, the amount of Asian people that I know named Robert Lee
Yeah. That's, I know too.
is wild.
Yeah.
Like they're exponential. There's so many that like, however many years ago where it was like people were like, take down these fucking Confederate statues. Like we don't want this anymore. The idea that people were like, no, I need that overseer looking at me is wild to me. Because if it's not about that, which absolutely for certain 1000% in putting them up was about that. It was, you won't forget. Not one of you black people will forget what it really means, what it really is here, right? That's what that was for. It was continued intimidation. It was continued in your face. Nah, y'all ain't shit. For that to be the reason you put those up, what could be your reason for you not wanting to take it down? If you are, I didn't own slaves and I didn't have anything to do with that and I don't know anything about it, why are you so tied to it then?
Do you think
Yes.
that you said the continued intimidation?
Yeah.
Do you think ASAP Rocky is continued intimidation to Drake? Do you think when these headlines hit and that stomach gets bigger?
And and the fashions just keep going. I don't know. I don't even know.
I don't know if
Drake
that's just the
cares.
narrative, and now it's a thing.
Yeah, like, I
it's
don't-
funny to.
It's funny to laugh at. Like,
Yeah.
the memes are hilarious.
Yes.
But I also, I don't think he cares.
I don't think that either.
I don't think that's the situation. I don't think he's
Nah.
pining after Rihanna. Like, I really don't.
No.
But it's hella funny to think about, and
It
it's
is.
super funny to see the memes. But like, it was yesterday, right? Last night, all of a sudden, the internet lost its mind. Rihanna and A$AP Rocky have broke up because A$AP was cheating on Rihanna with a shoe designer from Fenty, and it was detailed, right?
Yes,
It was,
yes.
and he's worked with her before in photo shoots and this and that. Like, it was very detailed, salacious. Good word. And the memes were immediate.
Yeah.
Like, we as the collective internet have so many great pictures of Drake. You can absolutely do whatever you want. You can put a Drake picture in any scenario.
Yeah.
There is one for everything.
For it all.
The memes were super funny, but it was also like, yeah, I'm kind of not buying this. Like, why? Who said? Like,
Yeah.
there's no, what? And then it was like, she was seen crying at a restaurant that they were at. Like,
I'm gonna say that I saw a photo of where the little jagged line
yeah,
between
them.
and then it gave that and not even 3 minutes later came across something that broke it down of like dates, and being like, this is actually what's going on. Stop.
Yeah.
Like, and it was just, that's what it ended with, was just stop. So immediately I'm like, this is not.
Well, so in my like tiny research of trying for this story to even chat about it, I see the original tweet,
Yeah.
right? And that person's multiple tweets after that. Like, how dare y'all think I would make this up in my industry and
Yeah.
fashion and this and that. And it's like, there's just a few things that matter. Like, to be a trusted source,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And like, you just saying it and you just being a person that is telling us that you work in fashion in Europe and you're
That ain't
saying this,
about-
like, if this happened in LA, why are you talking about it if you in Europe? Like, I'm confused. And those are the questions I'm gonna ask before I'm like, this is real, right? Like, I just don't understand I don't understand the level of miserable you gotta be to make stuff up about people you don't know.
Yeah.
I do not get that. I also don't get it about making up stories about people you do know.
Yeah.
But like,
just in general, making stories.
just in general, but like even more when it's a person you don't know. And these are like famous people that, are you gonna talk to them? Are they gonna come to you? Like, are you supposed to be one of the sources that are close to the couple? Like, what? Why would you bring that? Why? Just on a Thursday on a whim? Stupid. Like, it's miserable.
The thing is, I think there's, without having really any what they call it, skin in the game,
Yeah.
there's this, we'll take it away from the celebrity of those two and just put it in the context of socials in general, the internet's in general.
Yes.
And there's this thing, and I'll say I'm even a person that when people first hook up in a relationship or something and they go like overboard with showing their love and stuff for the interwebs, there's this part of me that's always like, chill.
Why are we doing all this?
Chill. Because this is gonna look nuts in a few months. And it often does. It's not that I want that to ever be the thing, but there's a certain level of, I think there's people who are anticipating that to happen.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so to have this couple come together, Rihanna being who Rihanna is,
Yep.
billionaire, self-made, if they want to say it, and then a successful man coming together, and her being someone that a lot of people,
have their eye on.
yes. So to have this ain't Beyonce, but this is another version of that in terms of a woman that women, that's their alter ego.
Yeah, like
Is
she's
Rihanna.
definitely in that same, like it's Rihanna, it's Nicki,
Kelly
it's
Price.
there are a few people that are up.
That was funny as hell. I don't give a no, that was fucking funny. Oh yeah, but it's in that
But
space.
she's in there, and then ASAP is definitely
Yeah.
nothing to sneeze at, right?
Yeah.
Like women are like,
Yeah.
real hubba over here. That is a absolutely gorgeous man. So hubba,
But
and moving the
so
glasses
there's this.
like
I think
this.
there's
Wow,
one
wow.
of how quick that spread and how fast that moved around. I mean, the interweb takes the bad news, but I think that's the part of. There's a certain level of satisfaction I think that people get out of news like that.
Yeah, I do too. And so then if you are a person that gets satisfaction in that moment,
Yeah.
it is easier for you to believe that thing you just read because you want to believe the thing you just read. So I don't really need to find out who said, why said, whatever happened. Did y'all know?
And that's also a there's also a piece of that I was seeing hella subliminals, weird subliminals that were in the space of see, this is why, or not even this is why, but just saying, don't think that celebrity, when y'all say relationship goals, a couple goals, and that's where
Look how silly you are now.
yeah, they won't speak directly to it, but it's still in the same space of.
Miserable.
We can look at people and think like, I would like that. Not
Yes.
necessarily the entire but
Well,
that
no, because you
thing
don't know
that's
it.
displayed, but it's more so of there's a picture in a place that's like, I would love to
Yep.
be in that and have what that possibly feels like in that space. Not the relationship in its entirety.
Because we don't know that.
Exactly. But there's
But I also think that what you're saying right now and what I'm agreeing to is one version of being able to be like, that's goals, I'm down, I want that.
Yeah.
The other version is there are plenty of people that definitely just see surface things and are like, I want the whole package because
Yeah.
the whole package is what I'm seeing right now. And so
Yes.
I just want to acknowledge
that makes
that's
me
a
think about
thing.
how many dudes I see when it's anything, especially in the space of TikTok, which I feel like my algorithm is nuts on TikTok. For me to not be doing anything on TikTok, it's wild. But anytime there's something in the space of a chick talking about sucking a dick or something like that, it's somebody always in the comments about need to be wifed up. And it's like, wait, what? Because what about that
To have
says-
sexual activities?
What about that says? But anyway,
Listen, I'm gonna tell every single one of y'all, stop pretending like what you need is a virgin in your life. If
oh no, come experienced.
I don't want,
I don't want to have to walk you through all the things. I can tell you the adjustments you may need, but with that, I don't want to be teaching you from scratch.
Bye. End the episode. That was beautiful.
We're talking about abortion and healthcare rights in the bill sweeping the nation and much more next week. Thank y'all for listening. Follow us on the Instagrams. Follow us at Unrefined Sophisticates. Follow me, Ken, at I Technically Can. And follow Morg at Portland Morgan. Make sure you like us, subscribe, and review wherever you listen. And tell a friend to tell a friend about us. And right about now,